everyone. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nasra. I'm from University of West Sulawesi, especially Class C 2018, English Education Department. In this video is my task. I want to explain about the material English for specific purpose. From my lecturer, Mr. Adi Isma, SPD, NPD. The second meeting, the origins of ESP. English for specific purpose, or ESP, is a new approach to learning English that is different from general English. ESP refers to learning English which is oriented toward the specific needs of learning in accordance with their field or knowledge and work. ESP is a language teaching approach where all content and method are based on student revision for learning. There are three main reasons common to the emergence of ESP. The first, the demands of brave new world. This happened because of the activity of exchanging goods and services after the war. English is the key to technology articulation in international scale trade. So, knowledge of English is generally considered the prerequisite for good education. The second, a revolution in linguistics. Generally, the goals of linguistics is to describe the rules of language used, namely grammar. The third, focus on the learner. Students have different needs and interests, which will have an important influence on their motivation to learning in language and effectiveness, so that in faster and better. And next, the third meeting, development of ESP. There are main phases in ESP. The second, the concept of spatial language register analysis. Register analysis in linguistics. A register is a variety of a language used for a particular purpose or in a particular social setting. Register analysis is analysis of grammatical and lexical features of language used for a particular purpose or in a particular social setting. The second, begins the sentence, rhetorical or discourse analysis. In this stage, the second phase of development shifts attention to level above the sentence of ESP become closely involved. ESP become closely involved with the emergence field of the discourse of theoretical analysis. It focused to understand how sentences were combined in this discourse to receive meaning. The third, target situation analysis. Target situation analysis, according to Hutchison and Waters, target situation analysis was aimed to take students exciting knowledge of setting on more scientific basic and establishing procedure from relating language analysis more close to learn reason for learning. The four, skill and strategies. In this stage, we consider the two things. Thinking process underlying language use on focus on underlying interpretative strategies. The fifth, a learner can centered approach. ESP concerned with language learning rather than language use. The importance and the implication of the distance that we have made between language use, this and English learning will hopefully become clear as we proceed through the following chapters. Next, course design. There are main stage of development. The first, classical or traditional grammar. Language were described in this way because the classical language were case-based language where the grammatical function of each word in the sentence was made apparent by the use of appropriate inflections. The second, structural linguistics. This method is of linguistic analysis delayed in English language, teaching to development of substitution table as typical means of explain in grammatical pattern. The third, transformation generative grammar. For ESP, the most important lesson to be drawn from Chomsky's work was the distinction he made between performance and competence. Chomsky's own definition of performance and competence was normally based, being concerned only with syntax. The fourth, language variation and register analysis. The language varies based on context it is used. Sometimes it can be formal or informal and written or spoken. The fifth, function of or nation grammar. Function deals with social behavior and represent the intention of the speaker or writer, like advising, warning, threatening, describing, etc. While nation deals with the reflection on the way of human mind think, like time, number, gender, and location. The fifth function nation grammar. The sixth, rhetorical analysis. This stage deals with how the meaning between sentence is generated. The important thing is the context of the language. Next, theories of learning. Behaviorism, learning as habit formation. Learning is mechanical process of habit formation and result by repeated reinforcement of the stimulate circuits. This method will become now many teacher and pattering a basic methodology rule. The second, mentalism, thinking as a rule government activity. Learning is not just form of habit but rules of learning, a process by which experience individuals use with a mind to formulating hypotheses or contingencies. Mentalism sees children as human having their creativity. The third, cognitive code. Learning as thinking being. Learner will learn when they actively think about what they are learning. Therefore, next, therefore, affective factor. Learner as emotional and motivation as affective factor. Before learners can think actively about something, they must be willing to think about it. The emotional reaction to learning experience is the basic foundation for beginning of the cognitive process. Next, the fifth, learning and acquisition. Learning is viewed a process while skill goes recognized. This is how learner become a reflection a second language. Both in the process and on ESP course, they will benefit both. The sixth, a model for learning. A learning model will provide practical and reference material from an on ESP teacher and course designer by study. They need the acquire language is need factor, but the same if not more important is the need to enjoy in a rangeable way a process of proficiency. Next, uh, the sixth meeting, target need analysis. The first, what is target need? For need for a target is a general term, which is practically hiding a number of important differences. In of the window word, the need for a target is what is students need to do in the target situation. The second, a target situation. Analysis target situation. Analysis of this target situation is needed for the material from the application or question about this target situation and attitude toward the situation to all participants in the learning process. The third, learning needs. Analysis to learning is what students must to learn. Using our analogy of the ESP course as a trip, which we have made so far considering starting points and goals and work goals. Therefore, analysis learning needs. We can use a similar checklist for which to analyze the target situation. Next, the seventh meeting, approaches to course design. There are main types of course design. The first, language centered course design. Language-oriented course design aims to describe the direct connection between the analysis of the target situation on the content of the language course. The second, skill-centered course design. A skill-centered approach to ESP has been widely employed in a number of ESP projects, have been applied with the specific aims to developing students' English skill. The skill-centered approach is based on following principle: theoretical and pragmatic. The third, learning-centered approach. A learning-centered approach is that learning is completely determined by the learner. It's based on teaching they can affect in thought, but what students learn is determined by the students only. Okay, I think that's all. Thanks for a lot of, and wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.